me sit up on it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Good.
the Shell Space Live Show for The Empire Silence by Christopher Rocchio. I have the
That's the
UK
version.
version. Yeah. Oh, you have the UK version? I would think
It's
you
so
have.
pretty.
Really? I really
Well,
like the
it's
covers.
the US covers are really hard to get in a size that mature eyes like. So there are no trade size paperbacks that I can find, only mass market, and you
Yeah.
cannot get a hardback unless you want to pay an exorbitant amount. And for me, this was a new author, a new series. I was not willing to risk paying, $75 for a hardcover and then be stuck with something I might potentially not like. So I went with my trusty Blackwells and got the trade size UK, and I'm so glad that I did. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Every time I pick it up, I study the cover just to look at it because I think it's just beautiful, and I'm looking forward to collecting the whole set in the UK
Yeah.
version.
I think the
Plus,
cover,
it's
both covers.
floppy.
I know, which is
It's
very rare for a UK paperback.
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
really
and it
like it.
makes this, like when you hold the pages a certain way, it makes this noise.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that today. I was like,
And
it's
so
making that clang sound. It's really nice.
yeah, so I like that.
I do like the UK covers, but I don't know why. It's just the US covers just fits the whole vibe of the whole book. I know, like what you said, the US hardcovers, at least the first one, is so hard to come by. But
Mhm.
me being me, I don't really care if I have mismatched editions. So even if I have this edition, I was going
Yeah.
to buy the next consequent books in US hardback. So I'm excited to get those.
I just this one, I think what I love most is the way that they have Hadrian on the cover where he's just partially in shadow, just
Mhm.
his stance and how he's
Yeah.
walking. That just for some reason speaks to me of the story. Just I loved it. At first I wasn't so sure, but the more I looked at it as I read through the story, because I'm just so weird, I always look for the scene that's on the cover as I read. And while I did not see this particular scene in its exact appearance, I did get that feel from it.
Yeah.
Just the feel of Hadrian as the character as he progressed. And by the end is where I felt he embodied what this cover shows. And I loved it. So these are the ones I like. So I'm going to stick with those.
Yeah, go for it. And also speaking of like you looking at the cover, I feel like Christopher Rocchio really has a good grasp of details. He always puts a lot of details, and I feel as you read through the series, I feel like there's a lot of foreshadowing from the first book that we'll learn later, and I really love when an author does that. Like it has a solid plan as where to everything is going to go and not just
Mm-hmm.
kind of make it up as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
especially sorry,
he pro.
especially the end, like with the especially the end when things were revealed a little bit and you're still a bit confused and you want to like, continue on with the series. It's a good
Mhm.
grasp.
Yeah, he outlined exactly. I mean, he outlined the entire series, in my opinion, from the very beginning, and then he would remind us. He definitely spoils what's coming ahead, and
Yeah,
some people don't like that. But then, if you remember, this is Hadrian Marlowe at I don't know what age he is as he is looking back on his life and telling his story of how things progressed and how he got to where he was and what he did and why. So he lives through anything that's coming along. Like you already know he makes it to sometime in the future and he's looking back and telling this story to us.
yeah,
So, that in itself is a spoiler that if he comes into danger, he's going to live because he's
yeah.
telling us the story. But then again, he's not he's not completely human either.
Mhm.
So it is possible he can suffer something and is able to be brought through it through their technology and how they are developing and growing and making these people. It's not they don't just have natural born children, which
Yeah,
I thought was interesting.
It is really interesting. And also another thing, like you said, with his progression, he already experiences a lot of trauma in this first book alone. He
Which
goes through a real hard time.
that trauma and his relationship with his family
Hmm.
kept giving me intense fits from Assassin's Apprentice, the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. So many people compare this story to Name of the Wind and Dune. I didn't get either of those.
I
Well, I
can see
haven't
why
read
it's
Name.
Name of the Wind because I know Name of the Wind, the main character is telling a story. I think that's the concept that they're
Gotcha.
looking at with this one. Because over here, Hadrian is telling a story about what happened and how did he get here. And
Ah,
in Name of the Wind, he's telling you what happened. How did he become the king killer?
okay. So
Yeah.
just a similar plot device.
Yeah.
Well, this story gave me echoes of Fitz and
So it's funny
Robin
that you
Hobb.
mentioned that because I was saying it the storytelling and the way you, like you said, with Fitz, it's just a one person, so sorry, first person perspective, and you just follow his journey.
Mhm.
And Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Merlier is exactly the same, where you have our main character telling the story of how she got to where she is now, the story, and we're
Mhm.
going back to the beginning. And during that particular live show, I was saying how you going through with this character all the journey and the trauma and everything, and I said that it feels like Robin Hobb because you
Mhm.
go through with that one character, you follow their trauma, you connect with them and you bond with them through that journey, and it's the same with the daughter of the forest, and I feel like it's the same over here as well.
And my other kind of echoes that I would compare it to is Stephen Erickson's Garden of the Moon.
Okay.
Not like Erickson does not spoil anything. He does not tell you what's coming,
Yeah.
but in that he is very intricate with his storytelling. Nothing is without purpose. And that's how I felt with Empire of Silence. And I am just floored. This is Christopher Rocchio's debut. It
Debut, I
it
know.
it is
Wow.
absolutely stunning. It was just beautifully written. I don't feel that he wasted words. He did get very descriptive, but what I do with books that are intricate, complex, very detailed, I just read small chunks per day. And with the how beautifully written it was easy to just lose myself in the beauty of the writing. Even if I did not find myself invested in the story of Hadrian Marlowe, I think I would just have a good, enjoyable time reading the beautiful prose. And it was very easy to understand. And I
Yeah.
also paired it with the audiobook. The narrator does an outstanding
I
job
know
with
this
this
is a,
one.
like a weird sidetrack, but for the audiobook, Hadrian's father, when the narrator speaks his voice, does it
Mm-hmm.
remind you of Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean?
Well, it does now. Oh man,
Listening to it,
that
I was like, Davy Jones, is that you? It was so weird.
yeah,
That's a little weird tidbit that I had while listening to the audiobook.
but yeah, this is one I would take slow. I would definitely read other stuff with it. I wouldn't make like this was not my main read. I did look forward to picking it up every day. I thought about it. I was tabbing quotes like crazy, just things that I thought were very just important as far as nuance to the story. I just I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it's one that I think also would need to be broken up. I could not pair another type of story this intricate next to it. So I
You're
would definitely
basically
say
don't do a
break it
me.
up.
Yeah, don't do
Yeah.
it. That I read Grace of Kings while also reading Empire of Silence. Don't do that because they're the same.
Whew.
I know.
Yeah.
And
That would confuse
also
me.
with me, I binged Empire of Silence. and obviously wouldn't recommend doing that, to take your time. And the reason why I also binged it is because I was taking my time with Grace of Kings, and I haven't
Mhm.
finished a book in May, and I was like, look, I need to finish a book. So I like binged Empire of Silence, which is not the way to go, I will say. But I still did appreciate the prose and the writing. And I want to say with the writing, um, I feel like it's a good combination of like straightforward writing with like kind of beautiful metaphorical philosophical writing, and it's a very good combination.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I also tabbed a lot of quotes in here, and also it was quite funny as well, the jokes
Yeah.
that Hadrian had. And he's also very self-aware. When he makes a mistake, he accepts that mistake, and also how dramatic he is, which I absolutely love. That he always comments on how melodramatic he is. And
Mhm.
another vibe that I get from Empire of Silence is Red Rising. So Hadrian does remind me of Darrow, and the difference between Hadrian and Darrow is that Hadrian realizes that he's being very melodramatic, whereas Darrow doesn't. People tell Darrow that he's being dramatic, but he doesn't realize
Yeah.
he's
Now I
dramatic.
do enjoy Hadrian in this role much more than I did Darrow.
Yeah, me too.
Darrow Darrow sort of was led and made. Hadrian made himself.
Hmm. I agree.
He took a lot of initiative in how he did what he did. It's
Mhm.
also a much slower, more reasonable time frame that all of this happened.
Yeah,
I felt Red Rising happened very quickly.
yeah,
Hadrian was is much more a meticulous, realistic time frame. And there were times where that I felt a great attention to detail, which I still cannot believe Christopher Rocchio in a debut novel was
hmm,
so attuned to this. But Hadrian is nobile. He grew up training, and he was a very good swordsman. He was better than his brother. It was mentioned time and time again. But yet he runs into trouble, and I love the fact that he's like, in that moment, 10 years of sword practice flew out of my mind. I couldn't have told you one form. And it's just, I thought that's exactly how I feel I would react in that situation. Like, it doesn't matter. I could go practice karate every day. And then if somebody were to jump out and attack me and be like, give me your purse, I feel that everything's going to flee my mind. Everything that I would need to do to try to protect myself would flee my mind in that moment when you're placed in that moment. And that felt so realistic. That felt so authentic as a human response. And I thought, man, and there was just times that he did that, and I like how is this debut author just so dialed into those human moments? I loved it. I just loved it.
it's just really refreshing, like you said. Like, it's not the like, oh, I'm a hero, chosen one kind of person. He has flaws. He needs to work on his form and everything. Also, at one point in the book as well, where he has been staying at one of the Lord's houses for a couple of months or years, and he has to go for a duel, and he's like, I'm out of shape, and not just miraculously can still fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
very refreshing that it's realistic and, like you said, human as well.
Yeah. And
Even though he's not exactly human, which is like,
right.
yeah, that's a lot of, there's a lot of discussion as well with that, with what is human, because Hadrian and his species of humans are not technically us humans, because
Right.
they're technologically advanced, where they don't even have to like procreate the way we procreate. They just get grown in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
And how they're saying, how do you pronounce it? Kilkin? Kilkin? I think that
Cielson, the
Cielson.
aliens.
That's right. Cielsons, where they kind of have certain human qualities, but they're not human, but
Well,
they think themselves as.
that's one thing I thought about often. It seemed that Hadrian was the only one who saw human like qualities about them. And even
Yeah.
as he got to know them in the end, I
Yes.
think he started changing his mind and did not see the similarities. I think it morphed into what they truly are.
Mhm.
And I do wish that we got more information about the how they basically grew and made humans.
Mhm.
How, how is it that they're half human and half not? I would have liked to have known more about that process, which we may get in the subsequent books. But if that's the one negative I would have to say about this one, is because Rockio, you start out where Hadrian tells you all of these things that he has done, but we didn't get to any of the good stuff. Like, we didn't get to where he blows up the sun and the
Yeah.
billions of people and all that. We keep getting told I've done these things, and this is how people remember me. I'm like,
Mhm.
well, why can you quit teasing me? If you're not going to tell me that in this book, can you quit teasing me?
I think we're going to go through phases of his life
Mm-hmm.
where eventually you'll get the lead up to what he has done. And I feel like I have a theory about that where he says, like, oh, this is what people think of me, but he hasn't said, obviously, he hasn't said what he actually did. And in this book, at least so far, he is a good person. He wants to
Mm-hmm.
do right. He wants to do right by people. And obviously, in the end, he kind of goes a bit rogue with torturing the seals in.
Yeah. I do
Um,
feel bad for him because he
yeah,
does have a lot of good intentions that he makes bad decisions, or he
he does.
doesn't make the right decisions soon enough.
Yeah. But I like how he admits that he makes a mistake and he tries to correct it instead of saying, whatever, I'm just going to brush it off, which a lot of
Mm-hmm.
characters do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that the way he is now, I feel like it's something that he had to do to kind of either save a certain species or save the war or prevent the war from going like happening or something. It's like a bigger picture kind of thing where no one
Mm-hmm.
knows and
Mm-hmm.
everyone just assumes that he's the bad guy. I feel like that's where it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited. Even though, like I said, Rockio outlined the entire series, I feel like in the beginning, we don't know how we're going to get there.
Hmm.
So I don't mind knowing all of that. I'm one of those that I enjoy the journey. I like to know it doesn't matter that this is how it begins and this is how it ends. I like to know all of the meat in the middle. So I'm definitely enjoying it. I hope the pacing continues. I actually like
Yeah.
the slow pacing and just the slow ramp up. I
Hmm.
feel that it's a much better character study, a much better character development to understand his machinations, like what is drive. I always love to know what drives people to do the things that they
Yeah.
do and how they arrive at their decisions. And so I'm loving just getting all of those little tiny details of Hadrian. I've loved, and we had just such immense growth. He was very young and naive when we met him, and he had
Yeah.
all of these ideas about the Cielson in the beginning and how he wanted to help them. He wanted to communicate with them. He wanted to negotiate peace. And just the realization of, at the end, of just what exactly is going on there, I was just like, okay, wow. I wasn't expecting that. That was a very nice
It's a
little
very quick like twist as well in his mindset.
mm-hmm.
It was very interesting to see. We
Yeah.
can talk spoilers, by the way. This is a spoiler talk.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I didn't want
Okay,
to just,
let me
you know,
just. Oh,
mark it up there.
here we go.
Yeah.
Spoiler chat. I haven't asked. What was your rating for it? And anyone in the chat as well. Let us know what you thought about the book, general thoughts, and also ratings as well.
Oh, this is top rated. I absolutely love this. This is going to be one that I I predict this is going to be my favorite space opera
Oh,
series once I finish it. If he continues with the pacing, the level of detail and nuance, and his character developments like he is doing in this book, I just cannot see how I would not love this series above any other space odyssey. I love the mix with fantasy.
hmm
I guess because I like to read so many different genres, I really
Yeah.
love when they're blended and blended well.
Mhm.
It's just, and there's just so much that can be done. And I, I was so shocked and surprised at some of the things that he did in this first book, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the
Yeah.
rest of the series. But I just cannot see myself not having this be a top rated favorite series, one that I'll reread many times. I'm already looking forward to rereading Empire of Silence because even though I went slowly,
I
I
feel
was
like there's
like,
still a few details that we might have missed. I mean, especially me, but you know what I mean? Like this, we need
yeah.
to kind
And I
of
think
go
it's
back
going
and
to
forth.
be one that when you finish it, you want
Oh
to
yeah.
go back and
Mhm.
start at the beginning to see just what all was actually road mapped out along the way.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
because whenever I know the end, I love to go back to the beginning and just see, okay, wow, yes, here it is here. How did I not see this?
That's
So
why I
I
love rereading. Like you always get more details in your second, third, fourth reread, things you haven't noticed before, or certain characters that you fixate on and like
mhm,
didn't notice before. Um,
mhm.
what other side characters were your favorite? Because there were a lot of characters in this that come and go, and I was like, whoa. Even especially in the beginning, when he is smuggled out of Delios in the spaceship, and I was like, oh, cool. We'll be with these characters, and then the next couple of pages, it's like, no,
Yeah.
they're just
Well,
gone.
Rocky did a good job endearing um, Gibson, his mentor, the
Yeah,
Scoliast.
yeah,
I loved their relationship. I love that he never forgot all of the things that
yeah.
Gibson had taught to him, and he just those would just play back through to him all throughout the story.
Mhm,
I loved Kat. I love what her character did for his when he was stranded
mhm.
and what she taught him. Now Valka, I am not sure
I'm
about
not sure
her.
either.
I
I
could
can't really
never
quite
get a
get a grasp
feel.
on her character.
Same. You want down, bud? There you go. I just I know how important she is to Hadrian,
Yeah.
but I never understood how that important. Like where I know he was attracted to her, but she never really she never
Reciprocated?
gave him any clues
Yeah.
or any kind of interest in him that way.
Yeah.
No encouragement. I think she was just a very intriguing. I love the fact of how she came. I see her
Disabled
importance to the
cameras.
story because of her implant,
Yeah.
and that whole being extremely illegal. Like I love that level of danger,
Yeah.
but I never got her. So I don't know if maybe that's going to develop in a later
I
book.
hope so. I mean, as we saw in the ending, they're going on this expedition, which I assume is that's what is the second book's going to be about. And I I'm excited for the second book because he brings his friends with him as well,
Yes. Now
especially
I
Switch.
did love
I
that.
love that. I love that Switch is coming with him, and Switch reminds me of Severo, not
Yeah.
like personality wise, but like the
Yeah.
bond between Darrow and Severo and Hadrian and Switch.
Yeah. Now
Mm,
I do love the Myrmidons, so I was glad they got those in there.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, Valka is one I could not place how I felt about her.
Wow,
Yep.
that's really good. I think it's a very
Same.
like a good potential favorite for me at least.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
John.
I
She loves Valka. Okay.
I mean, yeah,
Tell us why you love Valka.
yeah,
What
because she
endears
is
her
a
to you?
badass. Like we'll all agree she's a badass. She already knew a lot of things that before Hadrian figured out, like the quiet, I believe.
Hmm.
So certain things like towards the end did confuse me a little bit, just because there's a lot of things coming out and everything. I have to reread that part
Well,
just to.
now I think that was also confusing to Hadrian
Yes.
because when he had that vision, he has no idea where it came
Mhm.
from, how
We
he
got no
had it.
explanation as well.
Yeah, so even that, I was like,
Mhm.
what caused this? How did he have this vision? Was it sent from the Cielson, or did he pick up, like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
What does it mean? So that was, I don't know that we were supposed to understand
Yeah.
that. I think a lot, probably the last 20% of the book is going to get explained in the next book.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a whole lot of, let me just set this stuff up for you to be
Yeah.
thinking about in your noodle while the next book's getting written. So
Yeah, and also there's a few mysteries as well throughout the story, like, where did the crew go when he was in the ship and being frozen, and suddenly he's just ending up in a mysterious place, and
yeah,
the ship is just nowhere to be found.
I just
That's also a
wondered
mystery.
if his mom had something to do with that.
Maybe. Because I obviously at that time I didn't know how long it has been since he was
Mhm.
frozen until he was awake. And then we do find out it was about like 30
30,
something years. And
yeah,
I thought maybe like the war between um the humans and also the, oh my god, Silson. I just been trying to pronounce it all day. Them have changed or like escalated. So maybe that's why they're like, oh, okay, we're in danger. Let's just get rid of him.
Mhm. Yeah, he did a great job introducing a lot of political schemers, and
Yeah.
there's so much going on
Mm.
between the lords, the different nobles,
Yeah.
and even between his mother and father. So, but I, the thing about it was, I was like, well, if his mom had something to do with, because she hired these people
Yeah.
to get him off the planet,
Mhm.
you know, did the dad find out and he's the one that had this happen to Hadrian? Did the mom do it for some reason? But then I was like, why would they use him as a pawn? They clearly, his dad did not have any stock in
Yeah.
having use for Hadrian in the
Mhm.
future.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of fun things you can think about and think
Yeah.
yourself in circles over. But yeah, that the missing crew, I'm very curious if we'll ever find out what happened there.
That's fair, Millie. I do
Yeah.
like that those kind of characters as well, but I feel like I need more other than just what she's done so far. I just need to get a little bit more of a grasp.
Yeah, she does make him think about what he's doing.
Mature enough to really.
Uh,
I
that's a
see
good
what you
point.
mean. Yeah, because sure, 35 years has passed, but he's still like 21, 23 years old. So
Hmm.
he's already
Hmm.
acting like a 23-year-old.
Hmm.
So I
Especially
can
when
see.
they live so long.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't want to live that long.
No. Like,
Mm-mm.
once I'm 80, I'm like, it's okay. I can die now. It's fine.
As long as I'm still getting around doing stuff, I'm good. But if it gets to where I can't get around, let me go.
Mm.
I. What did you think about the different types of classes, like the Scolias and the Chantry?
Chantry.
The
Oh, right. Yeah.
Chantry, basically the torturers.
Yeah. They're kind of, I was looking at the glossary because I was trying to figure out. They're kind of like a religious group that
Mm-hmm.
is that is basically doing the dirty work for the empire or the emperor. Um, well, they're shady, and also Hadrian was trying to question if they know the secrets that he has found out about
I
the
think
one.
they do. I think
Okay.
they know the actual truth of it all,
Yeah,
and they're
I
the
do think
ones
so.
behind
I do
everything.
think so. Another thing that I thought of when he was trying to figure out the quiet and everything about the seal sin. It reminded me of Skyward a little bit. If you've
I
read
haven't read
Skyward,
that yet. Haven't read
okay,
that
it
yet.
just reminded me a little bit of Skyward. I won't say anything else in case it spoils anything. It just
I'll
reminded me.
get there eventually. I've
Yeah,
I've just recently made back up with Brandon Sanderson. So.
that's fair. That's okay. I've only read Skyward to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't continued on with the series yet. But yeah, it's just that plot just reminded me of Skyward, and uh, yeah, I'm just there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and like I want to find out more about the other worlds, because obviously they were talking about that planet that he was talking about for Gosos,
Mm-hmm.
and they were saying how it's like a mythical planet, like it doesn't really exist. So I want to see what
And the
that's all
Sealson
about.
are like, yeah, bud, it's real. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with the next meeting between the Sealson and Hadrian.
Yeah, and also how he named their, I guess, their leader,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously he doesn't really understand the language properly, therefore we
Mm-hmm.
don't understand everything properly, so we just get bits
So,
and pieces.
why is he the only one that knows it? Like, how? I guess I missed that.
Gibson did.
Gibson knew it and he taught it to him?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, how is it he's the only one that
Mhm.
knows their language? Like, it clearly somebody knew it somewhere and decoded some of it to teach. Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing. Cause, but then the thing is, how did Gibson know? Because I think they were saying
Yeah.
how they looked at holograms of them and like tried to understand. I'm not sure how they did it,
Mm-hmm.
but Adrian did ask them like, "Oh, you've met a human before. Where did you meet them?" And then he
Yeah.
said, "Planet." And then
So that must mean we're going to learn more about Gibson's earlier life. And I don't
hopefully,
think he's dead yet.
no,
So
no,
I
he's
think,
definitely not dead. He's banished somewhere.
yeah, he's banished somewhere. So I'm hoping we run back into him again.
Mm, me too. I think they make a great duo.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to see the clash between Hadrian and his brother Crispin.
Oh,
That'd be interesting as well.
that guy got on my
I
nerves.
know. I was like, "Are you 5? Why? Why are you acting like this?"
Yeah.
And yeah, because I think Hadrian said like, "Oh, Crispin's 50 now," so I want to see how well he's aged.
Yeah, now he is the older brother.
Mm,
That's weird.
that is very weird. Just freeze in time, and now your younger brother is your older brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't care for him, so I'm curious to see. Clearly, he's going to be more like their father.
Yeah, I
So
would think.
I'm going to be very curious to see or go. I want to know how Rocchio is going to do this in this next book. I believe I've heard there is a time jump between this one and the next one, which was kind of jarring to some folks. So I hope we're gonna get some of that back information on what these characters have been doing all this time while Hadrian
Normally,
has
an
been
author
over here
does it.
struggling. Hmm?
Normally, an author does do it. Like they do say what they've been doing, but also I understand why he did the time jump, because obviously these people live a long
Hundreds
time.
of years,
Yeah,
centuries.
and it's also because traveling from one place to another, it takes
Hmm.
light years, so they have to preserve themselves to get there, or else they'll be dead by the time they get there.
Hmm.
I can understand the time jump for that.
Hmm.
I just don't want like missing chunk of time, like
Yeah.
with missing crew. I don't want that again. I need that
Yeah.
answered before you do that again.
Yeah. Surely we're gonna get some information on that crew. It's got to come out somewhere. Whenever we find out who is responsible for it, I'm sure we're gonna find out what happened to them. I mean, I'm sure they were just murdered.
Yeah,
Well, or they were
I don't
bought
know.
off.
He managed to find well, he was wearing his signet ring, so that's fair. But
Hmm.
I was trying to see if he will ever get back the book that Gibson gives him, or like the letter as well.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But it would be nice if he did.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious also about, was it the Count? What's his name? Starts with a B. The planet that
Bailey. It's like
he
Bailey.
wanted him to marry his daughter.
Yeah, I thought it was Bailey something. Hold on.
Barry something like that. It's BA something. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that.
Balian.
Because he just wanted his genes. He just,
Yeah. And
that's
Hadrian's like, I'm
creepy.
not a whore. I'm not gonna marry your daughter. I'm not a whore. I was like, that's
That,
hilarious.
I thought that was so creepy. They just want to dissect him to be able to use his genetic makeup to improve theirs so they can live longer without the appearance of aging. I
That's
was
not very
like,
like for sure.
I thought that was creepy,
That
but
is
also
creepy.
interesting. And it reminded me, I was like, when are we going to get some of that information? Like, I want to know how this works, how it got developed, how did they figure this stuff out, and why.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm clearly something happened to Earth that sent us into space, and
Hmm.
then they
Something about
started.
Foundation War. I know that was
Mm-hmm,
mentioned. Something about a Foundation War. I also thought they said something about like the people on Earth like using the resource of the Earth, and then they kind
mm-hmm.
of go into a war, and then they all left. I
And so
think.
I guess they decided to start experimenting on how to live longer.
Hmm.
Why though? I would not want to do that. Even if I could, keep a youthful appearance, why would you just want to live for centuries? Like, what is the point?
I would take the not getting sick part of the whole genetics because he
Yeah,
didn't succumb to the rot because of his genetics. So I would take
right.
that one. Like, I'm fine if I
I
die
would
later.
too,
Yeah.
because then I went and I got stupid COVID. Ugh, it was the
Yeah.
worst. Yeah, I like I'm we might not ever get that information. That might not be a side of the story that Christopher Rocchio goes into and develops. That would get
It
probably
could
really
be.
fancy.
It could be because they were because he and Valka were talking about the other species, Uman.
The amount,
The Uman?
yes.
Yeah. They were talking about those species where they originated before, like in Earth.
Hmm.
And it's something about like how they were there before them, like the humans.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was interesting
Mhm.
how they've been around longer than the rest of us, but
Mhm.
Hadrian was like, but they've never advanced. How is it possible they've never advanced?
Same with the Sealson because they didn't advance either.
So I'm curious what more we're gonna find out as far as that story goes, and why they suddenly, after all of these years of being enslaved, did they attack? What made them finally attack? Because they have clearly been beaten and misused and enslaved all these years, but finally something drove them to attack. So I'm wondering if there was some sort of stressor connected to whatever this movement is by the Cielson all of a sudden when they wanted to come pray to their gods on uh Cal Gar no, they're on the sea planet.
What?
When Hadrian has his vision, they're on the
Yeah,
planet.
I
It's like
did.
Cal something,
I did
and
not see that.
so I'm just wondering. But yeah, the Cielson was telling Hadrian they came there. Basically,
Mm.
they came there to pray. They
Yeah,
were,
they were
and
finding
so
something as well. Like
yeah, they were
if
looking for
not
something.
here.
And they came there to pray.
Hmm.
Which, do you believe that? Because
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
because
I
I know
don't
they were
think
searching for something,
they're looking
and
for something, and I
yeah.
don't think they're a peaceful people.
No, I think they are a peaceful people, and they're trying to find something, and they believe that this place that they're at, they've stumbled upon for like however long this war is, trying to find something, but the people on the planet won't let them come in and
Mm-hmm.
find because they're probably just assuming that they're here to attack you. So what do?
Mm-hmm.
You just attack them instead of asking.
Right. Well, they previously didn't have any way of communicating with them. Not that they cared to; they just
Yeah,
wanted to wipe them
exactly.
out.
Yeah, I think it's also saying like, oh look, here's someone different. Let me attack them because I'm scared
Mm-hmm.
of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that there's a lot of that in here as well.
Yeah, he definitely also showed a very good illustrator of the class divide between the
Mm,
people as well as other races. So, and I think that was all taught and set up by the Chantry.
yeah, I'm just trying to find the planet.
Caliga, that's the
Ah,
one
is
they
that
were on.
a planet or it's just a place?
Oh, I thought it was planet.
I don't think the glossary tells you either.
Nope.
No. So we just have to figure that out.
Yeah,
Because
for some
that's
reason I
where
thought it was
no.
like an evacuated place
Mm.
because it had all those caverns that they
Yeah,
were going
that's where
through.
they were
Because
trying to find.
mm-hmm. No, Earth Melly is as gone. Like it's
Live on it.
they believe that it might they believe the Earth like left, abandoned them, like died,
Yeah.
and that maybe
Like
one
Mother Nature
day,
is kind of their god. Like she
yeah.
abandoned. Yeah. But also curious at the South Sea and oh my god, whatever. They also said that their home is Earth as well, I think.
Yeah, they called their home planet Earth as well, yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah, no. It's 11 o'clock at night. Who's
oh
doing
my
bad things?
gosh.
Who's doing bad things? This is unacceptable.
Yeah, they shouldn't be running sirens that late.
I just found the scene where he finds. Yeah, he sees himself but with green eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very weird scene that it didn't get explained, and I'm just like, what is this? I
It's
really
like
want to.
you spoil other stuff for us, then you give us this stuff.
I really like the ending though, where he says something about reader, and I was like, wow.
Well, I wonder if he sees himself with green eyes, if that means something's going to happen where he gets remade or repaired or reborn. Since he's not 100% human,
Yeah.
I wonder if something's going to happen to him where they're going to regrow part of him.
Mm. Oh my
Or
god,
maybe
this is like
there's
far-fetched, right? What if? So you know how Hadrian gets frozen and then suddenly he
mm,
wakes up, right?
mm-hmm.
What
They
if
cloned him.
that's yeah? What if that's not Hadrian? That's kind of like a different person. Maybe that's what
Mm.
the mom is trying to do. Like she takes this Hadrian somewhere who has green eyes, and this one just dumps him here.
But if that were the case, I would have taken a signet ring because that's what makes him, that's his identity, if you
Yeah,
will. That's how
yeah.
he's able to prove his name and make transactions with the ring and has all of his land tied to it and
Yeah.
all of that.
What if
I
the
was
fake Hadrian gave? So what if the fake Hadrian got the ring of the real Hadrian? Because they're twins, or like they're same person. Their DNA and their blood work are going to be the same.
Well, either way, the dad has written them off,
Yeah.
disowned him, the dad and the grandmother.
I feel like it's the mom doing all this puppeteering.
Well, I mean, it's if you follow that line, he is way removed, but he is connected to the emperor.
Yes.
Their family is. So I'm sure something along those lines is going to come into play at some point. I feel that Christopher Rocchio would not just put a throwaway line in there about, oh, by the way, the grandmother is this many removed from the emperor. There's a long line, but needless to say, they're in it.
Yeah.
So I feel that it's going to be important later on. I mean, he tells us many times that Hadrian blows him up, so I'm curious. Yeah, I am looking forward to continuing this series very much. There's a lot of questions.
Copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a copy after this. Hopefully I can do it. But I feel like I want to finish my Grace of King journey and then I will continue this. That'll be good.
Yeah. I've got a summer full of projects. I don't know if I'm allowed to say what it is yet, so I'm just going to not say it yet. And so it might be a couple of months before I continue, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think I would definitely reread it. At least like some parts of it to like grasp everything and then continue on.
Yeah. I haven't yet sat down to actually write out a review because I've been on the steroid from my ear infection from COVID, so I can't really get all my thoughts together to like settle down to make it make sense. So I'll have to get my review written and put up soon.
These are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I'll just have to go through all of my little tabs and figure it out. But all else fails, I'll just re-listen to the audiobook because I purchased the audiobook to do the immersion read with it.
Yeah.
I'm such a huge fan of that, especially with intricate plots such as these. It just helps. One, I love the narrator's voice, Samuel something. I can't pronounce his last name.
Mr. Davy Jones.
He does such an amazing job. He makes the story sound so regal. It just very noble. Just I love hearing him read it to me and then following along, with my eyes too, really helps commit it to memory. So all else fails, I can just listen to the audiobook again.
See, I would have done that with Grace of Kings, but the audiobook is not available in the UK or Australia.
That's rude.
Yeah, I know. It's really rude.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. That's why it's taking me so long to finish this because I'm like you, reading 50 to 60 pages chunk. So it's like, when will this end?
I'm so confused as to it's an audiobook. It's not a physical thing that has to move anywhere. It just goes to your ears. Why is that not available worldwide?
I think it's just like legal stuff.
Oh. Well, I am very much looking forward to reading that series as well.
Yeah, because I think Michael Kramer narrates it.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I don't like him.
Oh. Fair enough. I know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he narrates the Grace of Kings series.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll appreciate this flop. Hold on. This is the third book of.
Wow. That's a weapon. Good Lord.
Yeah. But like compared to the first book, it's like.
Yeah, that's.
It's different sizes too, but I don't care. But still, it's so stiff.
Wow.
So fluffy.
Yeah, I don't mind about different. Like I have some book like it's the same. I actually have some that are the same covers, but they're different sizes, and I don't know how that happened.
Oh, interesting.
I'm like, how did that happen?
Wait, same cover, different sizes.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's happened here.
It's like how did y'all Like, what happened?
Because I know they do paperback, at least in Australia, they do trade paperback first, they release it, and then later, a year after, they release the mass market paperbacks. So
Yeah,
Veil Brown was only released last year, maybe, or the year before, so it's still fairly new. So that's why it's only on trade paperback and not mass market paperback.
gotcha. Yeah, I don't mess with them little mass markets anymore.
I had no choice. But I'm so glad that the series is on Kindle Unlimited, so I don't have to carry them around.
Oh,
Just read it on
yes.
Kindle Unlimited.
Kindle Unlimited is my best friend. Because when I'm like going around doing stuff, I don't have to carry my books. I just stick my Kindle in my purse and I'm good to go.
Especially that textbook. Oh my God. No.
I used to carry those big old books around like that. And I used to carry sometimes two because I was deathly afraid of finishing a book and being stuck somewhere for, 10 minutes with nothing to read. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
horrendous. Man, that's
That
funny.
is very true.
I was thinking about that the other day of I think I was going to the doctor's office and I was putting my Kindle in my purse. I'm like, man, I remember how I used to have to carry a big purse. I bought purses based on the
Yeah,
size
I
book I could
still
fit
do that.
inside of it. Yeah.
I still do that. I was like, as long as it fits like a big paperback, I'm fine.
Yeah, but see, now I don't want to put books in my purse. I'm like, I gotta keep it pristine. It's gotta be pretty. But now my
I have like
Kindle,
yeah, because I have like a little thing,
book sleeve, yeah,
book sleeve,
yeah.
handy
Got
dandy.
mine. Got mine.
It's so cute. I always love that one. Yeah. Any last words for Empire Silence?
I think that is about as well as I can
We're both just very
wax.
excited to move on to the second book and want answers.
Yeah, it's 100% a book one. It's a
Yeah,
good, but
a
it's a
lot of
good
stuff.
beginning,
Hmm.
and I like that he didn't just chop it off. He
Hmm.
brought us. We got a resolution so
Yeah,
that I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to pick up the next book because it was just chopped. Like he brought it
yeah,
to a close, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, that makes me happy.
Hmm.
That gave me closure for this part of the story, so I can patiently wait until I can pick up the next one. Because it is definitely a tale that I have to be in the right mindset for and have the right placement for and where I want to read. Because, if I'm not in the right mood for it, I would hate it. And
You
it
have to
would
be in the right
be,
patience as well. Like you need to have patience with these types of
yep,
books because it's
yep,
going to take time.
yep, yep. So, but I'm excited. I can't wait to see what the next one's going to
I
be
will
like.
also recommend Grace of Kings to you because obviously you love Empire Silence. You're gonna love Grace of Kings.
Oh yeah, it's on the list. 100% on the list. So I've just got to find time to stick it in somewhere. I've got a lot of stuff going on, so it would probably be the tail end of this year.
Yeah, same. I'm only doing because I'm channel buddy read for April, May, June, and July.
Yep. So maybe the end of this year I can get into it. I'm hoping so.
Yes, we'll get to it. We'll get to all the books that we need to get to eventually.
Yep. Job
No,
security.
exactly. No point stressing about it. You're gonna get to it when you get to it.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Leslie, for being my wonderful co-host for this.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad I happened to read it at the right time.
I know, me too. I remember seeing it on Goodreads. I'm like, oh my god, Leslie is reading this. Maybe I should ask her. I know.
Yep.
I'm so glad. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye everyone. Have a great Saturday.